what do you call a banana that cross the road?
What?
A banana.
Kick him out right now. Kick him out.
Hey guys, so first things first, I'd like to apologize for not being able to upload for a bit. If you didn't know already from my socials, I had some PC parts that weren't working anymore, so I needed to fix them, but they're finally fixed, so I'll have content coming to you soon. But in the meantime, here's a different type of video where we do podcast sessions inside our Discord server, and in this session, we decided to talk about ghost stories. So sit back, relax, and get some snacks, and listen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our annual podcast. We'll have this once a year.
Once a year? You're right. You're right. It's been a minute. We haven't made one, but
those
it's
of
been
you
a
who
minute.
are in tune, we will now commence a topic that everyone will be interested in.
Yes, indeed.
We would all like everyone to join in on this topic, you know. Anyways,
Does anybody have any ghost stories? If you have a ghost story, please raise your hand.
here.
Oh, I want to hear a ghost story.
Give me ghost stories. Let's do ghost stories.
All right, everybody. Let's give a round of applause for
Hi.
Eliza. Hello. There you go. Anyways, state what's on your mind,
This
Eliza.
podcast was recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Okay, hi.
Welcome,
I
Eliza.
guess the story I want to share isn't exactly a ghost story, but it is kind of like a paranormal story.
Oh,
Get rid of her. I'm kidding. Don't. I want to hear it.
So, okay. So this was actually a story that my grandmother passed down to my mother and then to me, so it might not be precise.
generational story.
Yes. Begin. I am Hispanic and from Mexico, and the majority of my family is from this haunted place called El Chalma, or it's considered to be one of the most haunted places in Mexico. So, there, supposedly, my grandfather was actually drunk, so he would often go to the bar and have a drink every night after work. So, apparently that one of those nights, he was on his way out of the bar, and he saw a man, and the man asked him, "Hey, you're a little too drunk to be walking by yourself. You need a hand?" And the grandfather goes, "Yeah, I could use a hand." So they start walking, and the grandfather's just talking and talking about random stuff because, you know, he's drunk. And supposedly, the grandfather, each time he turned to look at this man, turned into a different thing every single time. From a donkey to a rooster, to a wolf, I
Oh,
believe.
no, it's one of them
And-
walkers.
Sleepwalkers.
Here's the thing. I'll tell
Chupacabra?
you what it is. I'll tell you what it is at the end.
Yeah.
It turns into like a variety of animals, and the moment that they get home, the man is standing behind him, and the grandfather goes, "Hey, my wife just cooked dinner, so why don't you come in for being helpful?" So he opens the door, and the man looks at him and says, "I can't go in there," and he asks, "Why?" The reason why he couldn't enter the house at all is because the grandmother had a collection of crosses and Mother Mary's in there. But here's the thing. People in Mexico believe that if you see something shift into a rooster, or specifically a rooster, it's not any normal demon, it's the devil himself.
Uh-oh.
That was an amazing
Damn.
story.
You know
That
what?
was actually
That is a
good.
very, actually...
I like that story. You had me very tuned in.
I'm gonna be
very,
honest.
You know.
I'm gonna be honest. It was actually such a. I had to turn on my light. I was scared.
Do you have a
Alright,
story?
Okay, yes, I do have a story.
Alright,
Here we
let's
go.
hear it.
So, like, this was recently when my grandpa passed away.
Alright, hear that.
like,
Condolences, man.
Okay, I was getting ready to go take a shower. I got ready, and my mom and sister are downstairs. All the animals are with my grandma, and she's sleeping in her room. So I'm taking a shower, and all of a sudden someone walks up to the door and starts pounding. You could hear it across the entire house, and it was like a big house. Well, I was like yelling, "Who is it?" But nobody replied back. I finished my shower. I went downstairs and talked to my mom and sister and were you guys banging on the bathroom door? And both my mom and sister said they were downstairs the entire time. and my grandma was sleeping. I
Oh.
suspected it was my grandpa, actually.
You know, so I've heard about many stories about family members, you know, not haunting, but like, you know, giving a sign mainly to other people
Yeah, actually.
in a way.
Right after my great grandma passed away, she was known for wearing, you know, very this rose type of lotion type of thing. It smelled like straight up roses, you know, the grandma rose lotion. And so when she passed away, there was one morning when we went to the bathroom and that's all we smelled. No one else wore this lotion. But we walked in and that was like it was the strongest smell we could ever smell. We walked into the bathroom and we all smelled it and we're like, damn, you know.
Yeah,
Dang.
pretty good. We really do appreciate that story, though. You know, like,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
man, for sharing that shit.
Thank you for sharing, man. Thank
Oh.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, man. So do any of the overloads want to share one?
Well, okay, I'll just give mine then.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Bella.
So I actually have a couple, but I'm gonna tell I think two. So recently, actually, my girlfriend's dad passed away, and this was like
Rest
a
in
couple months
peace.
ago. Yeah, her mom and her dad were like super in love, like extremely in, like people that I've never seen in love before, like this in love. They had watched this movie together. I don't know what it was called, but I remember it was about this specific situation where the husband in the movie died and the wife was trying to communicate to him, and before he died they made up this like made up language, and they had like said like a certain word. It was like Pookie or something, and if they said that word that just meant I love you, but it was like a shorter way of saying I love you, right? My girlfriend's mom, she was on the phone with her mother-in-law. She says that she went to a psychic, and that the psychic was telling her about things that her husband had said in the afterlife, and she said that the psychic said the word Pookie for some reason and had no clue what it meant.
Oh my god.
And she had no clue. She didn't even know that she was going to the psychic. She had no idea that was gonna happen. And not just that, but they've had like a bunch of encounters in their house that was really weird. Like my girlfriend's mom and dad were really into butterflies, and the other day her mom went to the store and bought some sparkling water, and in the bottom of the box there was a butterfly card. And it said, "Be reborn and reinvent yourself," or something like that. I mean, that's not like that. That's out of the ordinary weird, you know.
Definitely.
I mean,
I would
there's
not know
like
how to react
so
to
many
that.
things. There's so many things that's been happening. I don't even know all of them. But I actually have another story, and this is more about like when I was younger. But me, my friend Drake, and Corey, we all spent the night together at my house, and we were doing these things called we were just ghost hunting, right? We would go around, we would use like spirit boxes and everything. We would just try to talk to anything that was there. And at that point, I had this like weird like situation where I just felt like I could see things. It's not like I was seeing ghosts directly, but it was kind of vague, and it was kind of like a feeling
feel
and
the-
intuition. Yeah. At the time,
That's a gift, Brandon. That's a gift.
and at the time, I didn't really think much of it. But then we were doing this ghost hunting stuff, right? And we got responses back on the spirit box. I don't remember what they were because that wasn't even the biggest thing about it. It was what happened like after. When my friend took a picture, just a random picture of a spirit orb, and it like manifested into like some like figure. And he said, "Brandon, what do you like feel? What do you see?" And I was like, "I just feel like a presence. It's got like a bloodshot kind of face on it. It's like reddish, but like you can't really distinct it. It's not like you can't really see it." I looked at it, and then he showed me, and it was exactly what I was thinking, exactly what I was seeing. After that, we all were freaking out. We decided to stop, right? But my friend Corey comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, like when you look at me, when you're with me, what do you like see? What do you feel?" And I was like, "I don't know, but there's this distinct picture of a woman standing by herself in fully black with yellow roses." And he starts bawling his eyes out. He starts crying right in front of me. He breaks down. And I'm like, "What's wrong? What's going on? What's happening?" He's like, "That's the last picture we took of my grandma at my brother's funeral." After that, we all went to sleep. We kept the lights on and everything because we were freaked out. But Drake said that in the middle of the night, he remembers me looking at him, like getting up, looking at him, and like just saying, "It's over. He's gone." And then I go back to sleep. But he said that when I said that, he wasn't even scared. He was just kind of relieved. But then the next morning, everything was fine. The thing is, I researched LaVeyan Satanism during my freshman year of college, and I don't know if you guys ever researched it, but it's like Satanism is different than what everyone thinks about. It's not
Of
like
course.
sacrificing kids or whatever.
Yeah, it's not.
It's more of like living your life in free will and like not really caring about like the societal standards of
Yeah,
mortality.
Mango and I were just talking about this the other day. We were talking about how it's legit just a religion against all other religions and just
Yeah,
living
it's
your
like an
life.
anti-religion.
Yeah.
I researched it and it said one of the commandments that they had was like if you have the gift of magic, do not doubt yourself or it will be taken from you. And since that day, I haven't really been able to see anything or talk to anything again. So I feel like it was taken from me, you know?
Oh man, let's talk about manifestation. Wait. Before we do talk about manifestation, let me circle back to psychics real quick. That shit is a really half situation right there. Like, I actually do believe in some psychics have that power to really be able to like get to know the person, you know? Because I went to a psychic once and they basically read my whole life once. About meaning like the situation with my dad, the situations of what I'm going through. They even knew that I was fucking gay and I don't know how they found out. Basically, I believe in like some psychics have the power to actually be able to like either guess your past, your future, your present, you know, all that stuff. It's kind of scary because like I said, I went there blind. It was my first time and I was going as it like, oh, this is bullshit, you know, nothing's really gonna happen. And when I got my reading, everything that he told me from the past was very correct and spot on, and then in the future he did warn me about this one thing and it did happen, and I was really amazed by it. I was like, holy shit, I really want to get in touch with that psychic again because I really want to do another reading with them. They were amazing with it.
Yeah, I always wanted to do it. There was this one thing at Cedar Point that they were doing, but I was like,
I think
I'm
those
just-
ones are kind of scams. For
yeah,
sure.
I just did after.
You need to look up ones that have really good ratings and all that.
Brandon, I don't think you realize it, but you have a gift that mediums have of the ability to feel presences.
I know, and
actually distinguish them.
to be honest, it's not even the fact that I don't even like. I believed that I was doing it, and I didn't doubt it. What it is I was scared as fuck. I'm like,
Definitely. I could
I
understand
was
that.
so confused. I didn't know anything that was going on. I mean, I was young for one. It's because my mom even told me. My mom was very vague when I told her about this situation because I told her about all of this, and she was like, "Brandon, please don't open doors you don't know what's behind."
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of manifestation, like we were gonna talk about,
Yeah.
Rio, go ahead and tell them, bro. Like,
Yeah, so this started happening more when I got more into like spirituality and all that stuff. I was raised Catholic, but
Yeah.
I still have some Catholic views, but there's some things that I just don't agree with, you know. So I just,
Of
you
course.
know, I just walked away from it. I started leaning more into spirituality, you know, energy from the world
One
and
with
stuff.
yourself.
Yeah, and with myself, and you know, feeling just colliding with the earth and feeling everything, all the energy.
Universe.
Yeah, exactly. Feeling everything around you, right? And so I really got into that about a year ago. I'm happiest I've ever been ever in my life. I used to be like really, really down there, you know? So yeah, so I started getting happy. I started enjoying life. I just started, you know, just good vibes all around, peace and love. I've always been about that, you know, but more now. And
Yeah.
so a few months ago, I started realizing I would start saying things or thinking things, and they would like come true. For example, Chaos and I, we worked together, and we were just waiting for like the bus. This is how it all started. I was just joking around, but most times you see the bus and it's far away, so it just takes off without you. But every time I started speaking it, I'm like, oh, the bus is just gonna wait for us, just watch. And most times it would have just taken off, but you know, this time, every time I would say it, it would stay there, like something would happen.
A situation would happen where somebody runs closer and we're like kind of far apart,
Yeah.
and they hold the bus.
And they just
Or-
wait for it. One specifically, the craziest one. I think this was the very first time I did it. I was like, "Oh, don't worry, the bus is gonna wait for us." And as soon as I said that, a car, like a van, with another team of like another coworkers and stuff, they whipped around and just parked in front of the bus, and just they just
held
stopped
it.
it. They just held it. And since they did that, we made it on time for the bus, which was really fucking weird because that never happens. It was the
Like,
wildest thing.
The bus does not wait for people.
It doesn't
Like, it will
wait.
literally- It will literally
does
take
not
off.
wait. Yes, exactly. There's been other occasions that I just can't remember where it didn't have nothing to do with work or anything. I would just say something and it would happen.
To me, it was a lot of like, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Definitely.
If I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be happy today, I was gonna
You
be
can
happy
do
that
it.
entire day.
Yeah, you can definitely manifest your own mind to get yourself to do stuff if you put your focus into it.
I know depression and stuff doesn't work like this for everyone, But to me, when I was thinking, all right, don't be depressed today, it was working. It was honestly working to me, and and I feel so bad to telling people like, you can't tell people don't be depressed. But to me, that's what was working for me. I was telling myself, don't be depressed, and I wasn't, and I was doing good. But you obviously can't tell people that. But
yeah.
See,
But, like,
manifestation
it works.
also comes with the power of the mind. It does not happen unless you also put the work into it. Like,
Yeah. It's like
Strong
No way.
mind, strong will.
how I like to view it, because obviously I'm very spiritual, blah blah blah. You know, it's like you're using the energy from your body, and using the energy of the earth, natural energy, and using them both together to achieve what you want to achieve. Like when I was young, I always said that I really wanted to be a YouTuber. I finally got old enough. I got all these things set up, and I put my mind to it. I kept telling myself that I was gonna make it big, because ever since I was little, I always felt like there was something big waiting for me. Like I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. I just literally always just wanted to do gaming. It was just something I've always wanted to do. And here we are. I start like working on stuff. I start grinding, and it's like as soon as I speak it into existence, it came to be, and it was like the craziest thing ever. I wanted to mention something. I don't know if you guys seen it or anything, but there's this show on Netflix. It is called The Midnight Gospel. The visuals are very, very trippy. It's a podcast. It's also a podcast where like this dude just talks about like random stuff. And that's really one of the big things that opened my eyes to spirituality and everything. I would recommend it. I'd recommend it for you guys to watch it. It's called The Midnight Gospel.
Hello, Eliza. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I heard that you need to tell another story.
Yeah, just like as a parting gift, because I consider this one somewhat more terrifying than the first one.
Oh shit.
I gotta turn my lights on.
Brace yourself.
Get in your feels.
Okay, so just for starters, my grandmother is a witch, and I've always been interested in that stuff because I was like, oh hey, this can be used to actually protect stuff, manifest stuff, and I believe in that stuff strongly.
Of course.
But what I didn't realize is that whenever me and my mom, her boyfriend, my two brothers were moving into a new apartment, things were gonna change drastically without the protection that my grandmother gave us, because her house is heavily protected. This was actually pretty recent in 2019. In this house, it was normal for a good while until we started realizing that things were kind of going missing and we didn't know why. We always felt uneasy in that house and like something was just so completely off. Most of us didn't really pay any mind to it. It's like, oh well, it's a new place. Maybe we're just having doubts to it, right? See, the funny thing about this is that I have no recollection of that night, but I think I know why. Apparently that night, my mom, her boyfriend, had heard my brother scream for whatever reason. Her boyfriend comes running into his room, but me and my brother are dead asleep. We did not move for anything, and I am a light sleeper. Something happened to us that night that didn't let us wake up. At the moment that her boyfriend ran into the room, he said that he saw a black figure standing over my brother, staring dead at him while my brother was staring at it in the eyes, unable to move at all. It would have been believable if it was sleep paralysis if it only came from my brother. It was the fact that my mom's boyfriend saw it too, so I was confused and I was like, why didn't I hear my brother scream? So my brother didn't sleep for a few nights after that, but in 2020, when we moved out of that place into a rental house, we thought things were going to be pretty okay. We didn't think anything of it, because my grandmother protected that place too, but that's what makes this one more scarier, because, hey, we're not safe with the protection. On another night, no, it wasn't during the night, it was during the day, and my brother was in his room with my other brother, and all of a sudden my brother on the top bunk bed, he turns around to the floor and sees that same black figure standing there staring dead at him, and my other brother who's on the lower bed just starts screaming and follows along with my other brother. My mom comes rushing in, but by the time she actually reaches that room, the thing is gone.
Oh my god.
Damn.
You know, hell no. I think I'll be scared shitless.
I'm terrified of this thing. The only reason why I believed that it actually existed is because more people saw it. But whenever I was much younger than that, like a kid, this was around the time where I started sleeping on my own. I was laying in my bed and I was just minding my own business trying to fall asleep until I felt a hand grab my ankle very tight
Oh no, nope.
and yank it off
Nope.
me. Like they tried to yank me off the bed. And I
I'm leaving.
stayed there for a
Yeah,
good
fuck that.
while until I just found the urge to just run to my mom's room. She tells me to sleep with her and just go back to bed, but she doesn't know that the entire night in her room there was a black figure standing behind her door staring at us.
Oh, what the
Fuck
fuck?
that shit.
I have my lights on and I'm still scared.
Bro, I'm literally home alone and you think you're scared?
Yeah,
Bro,
good
it's,
luck to you,
it's the
Rob.
middle of the day for you.
Speaking of witches,
Actually.
oh, yeah, I have my aunt who's actually a witch as well. You know, she's like the good kind that heals and all that. My brother would usually go around for like not therapy, but like mentally to help him because he was struggling at times and he was actually very depressed. And she'd give him all these little, you know, ornaments, some candles, talk to him about some stuff, go deep into like conversation with all these shits. She has this book. I remember she had a book of, I don't know if it was spells or what it was, but I remember looking through it. And I was like really amazed by it too, because I was like, how the fuck do you learn this? And how do you know how to cure? She basically blessed him with like luck, some money, and I know that it ended up happening to him. Started feeling better afterwards too. Yeah, no, I definitely believe in those witches that are like the ones that are good, and then the ones that are. I've never come across an evil one. I hope I've never come across one, because I don't ever want to be heck.
I have a story about that too.
Yeah, I'll go after you.
It's a short, short little story. There ain't much. It's just, a story about my mom, really. So apparently, I have this aunt that is also into like witchcraft and all that stuff, but she wasn't into it for like healing and stuff like that. She was just, to put this nicely, she was doing it to be a bitch. My mom wasn't very liked as a child within her own family. I don't know why they always wanted to spite her or something. So my aunt would like do random shit. I honestly don't know. This is just what my mom has told me. But there was just one point where one time they strapped her down to a table, like they tied her up and everything, and they just started doing a lot of witchcraft and stuff. She has no idea what the fuck was going on. My aunt was the root of it, and my mom says every time she ended up getting a pet, the pet ended up just dying immediately, as if she was like cursed in some way or something. Now it's like years later. I think my mom actually went to go to like a cleanser or something. I don't remember. She doesn't have that problem as much anymore. But I remember whenever we first got pets, all my dogs didn't last after a year, which is wild. And my mom ended up telling me that story, and it kind of made me feel bad.
Hey doctor, let's bring you up real quick.
What's up? So can you just
What? I can't hear
What do
you.
you have for us?
Oh, hold on. This was like a long time ago. At that time, my mom didn't really believe in ghosts and stuff like that. And she started learning a tiny bit about witchcraft, right? Well, at that time, there's this one thing going around, the Annabelle doll. She somehow got in contact with the Annabelle doll. She's like, I'm not scared of you. Do all that you can do to me. That was a really big mistake. That was probably the worst time of my mom's life. She had like seizures,
Oh,
even
God.
while driving. She was dating a guy at that time, and she legit had my sister and I call the guy so he can pick us up and take us back to his house.
Yeah, I could never mess with anything that has like, possessed
You
spiritual
never
quote
want to
unquote.
mess with something that has that much power.
Spiritual quote unquote
Yeah.
dolls or anything like that.
Scary,
Even if it's
man.
not real, I would not mess with it.
Because if you haven't heard the story,
Like Annabelle doll.
people who mocked the Annabelle doll
No.
ended up dying. Well, a guy was mocking the Annabelle doll when he went to the Parents Museum, Warren's Museum. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, he mocked it, and then he went on his motorcycle, and he ended up in a very bad motorcycle crash and died.
Okay, this is another story about my girlfriend's dad, but
Of course.
So one thing that happened to her dad was her dad was previously in another marriage, and he had 2 kids with that other woman, but he didn't really love that woman, and he didn't really have like a specific connection to her. For some reason, just kept being with her, and he felt like he was under a trance, you know, like something like that. Come to find out that like her side of the family, like her Italian side of the family, was into like really big witchcraft, and they think that that might be like one of the biggest reasons. Like they think that she put like a curse or a hex on him, where he died, and his death wasn't just like quick. It was like the whole thing lasted like a good 2 months,
Oh,
like
God.
him being in the hospital and everything, and him fighting for like his life, which they think that it was like a lot to do with like his ex-wife being a terrible
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, bro. I don't know how
Oh,
people
shit.
could, you know,
Yeah, that
have.
shit's. Anyways, I think I'm gonna have to dip.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just remembered that I do have an interview or meeting type thing that I gotta go to tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Well,
was
I'll
it-
Fuck you, Rio. How dare you leave?
Come on, y'all say F you, Rio.
Fuck you,
F you,
Rio.
Rio.
Are y'all really
Yeah.
saying
Oh,
F you?
F you. F you.
Damn.
Kuro.
Sorry.
Okay.
I love you.
Love
Take
you
care,
too,
man. Have a good night.
Sleep well.
We love you, Rio.
Mwah.
Alright, so obviously I'm not in the podcast anymore. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked what I did here, if you liked what was going on, if you guys like this type of video, please let me know so we'll keep doing this. This was like more of a test run or something. Alright, I'm out.